And now, from the heart of Redneck Country, Rednecks.tv brings you all the news that's not fit to use. Rednecks.tv.
Howdy, howdy, friends and neighbors. I'm your old friend and buddy, Mr. A. Big Johnson, and I'll be one of your hosts today on episode 9 of your favorite and my favorite internet TV show, Rednecks.tv, where we bring you all the news that's not fit to use. So kick back, adjust those rabbit ears, and sit back and relax and join me in welcoming my favorite cousin and co-host, Mr. Hugh G. Johnson.
Well, thank you, Big, for that fantastic introduction.
Well,
and I want to thank everyone out there for the thousands of emails that we received last week.
Literally thousands.
It seems that our story on metamaterials and invisibility was a big hit on YouTube and iTunes.
I was really shocked.
But then again, Big, it could have been my Academy Award-winning performance during the feminine hygiene product review section of our show.
Oh, yeah, it could have been.
I've had hundreds of photos and emails sent to me from our lady fans wanting me to come and give a personal seminar in their homes.
I'm not surprised. You ought to see some of the photos that I've had sent to me.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm currently considering all offers, and I will be consulting with my agent.
Okay.
Well, by the way, Big, how's little Dinky Johnson doing?
Well, I'm glad you asked me that, Hugh. Little Dinky, as you folks will recall from a previous episode, my brand new grandson, little Dinky Johnson, was born. He's doing good. He's growing like a mushroom under a cow pie.
Good deal.
Getting bigger by the minute. He got to go home. They had him in the nursery for a day or two. And did I ever tell you about the little baby they had in the little crib next to Dinky there?
No.
In the hospital nursery?
You didn't tell me that.
It was an interesting deal. The little guy was born. He weighed 14 pounds. A little 14-pound boy.
Oh, he's healthy.
He was a big boy. Yeah, I thought maybe he might have been kin to me, but he was 14 pounds, serious, and his testicles weighed 7 pounds. They did. They really did, and he wasn't there long.
You mean each or both?
Well, I guess just both. Yeah, his 14-pound boy with 7-pound goobers, and he was in the little bassinet right next to little Dinky. And he wasn't there long, and I went back down to the nursery and looked in there to take some pictures of my little buddy laying in
sure,
there.
I've seen some of those.
Yeah, and this little 14-pound boy was gone. And I asked the nurse, I said, "Where's the little boy that was in here a while ago he was 14 pounds and had 7-pound goobers?" And I said, "Where's he?" She said, "Well, they transferred him out of this hospital into, they sent him to a mental hospital."
Mental?
Mental hospital. I said, "Why'd they do that?" She said, "Well, he was half nuts."
Oh. I'm sorry about that.
Well, he really was. Anyway, last week's episode was indeed a real big hit, folks. Looks like we're going to get somewhere between 1.5 to 2 million views on YouTube alone, not to mention the other different places where our little podcast can be found. And today we're going to talk about Yahoo's new email program, printer inks at Hewlett-Packard, and we're going to do a review of some fine wines. Unlike one of my high school classmates, speaking of fine wines, mind if I relate another story to you?
Go right ahead, Big.
Well, at one of our class reunions, high school class reunions, folks, believe it or not, we rednecks really did go to high school. Maybe not all the way through, but we did go. And at one of our class reunions, they had sent out a questionnaire to each of the classmates to fill out, where do you live, what's your wife's name, how long you've been married, how many kids do you have, hobbies, and so what are your hobbies, and so on and so forth. And one of my classmates wrote in on the where it says, what are your hobbies? Mm-hmm. I'm sure that what he wrote and sent back in was collecting and sampling fine wines.
Right.
But whoever typed it up they had a little typographical error there, and it came when they printed it out for all of the classmates at the reunion. It said this fellow's hobby was collecting and sampling fine wives.
Well, I don't know about the collecting part, but sampling might be all right.
Yeah, as long as they're fine. Well, anyway, we're going to cover these and do a review of the fine wines. We'll cover some imported wines from as far away as, maybe even Ohio and Missouri.
Wow. Well, so I hear Yahoo has introduced a new email program that is designed to compete with the evil empire guys over at Google.
That's right.
For those of you that may not recall, the guys over at Google AdSense program stole our money.
That's right. Sorry outfits.
And we've designated them as the evil empire.
Yep.
Part of the rednecks' axis of evil. Places run by Ruskies.
Oh, Ruskies. I hate them Ruskies. Did I tell you about that new novel I read, the one that's out on now? It's a top seller.
No.
Yeah, it's called Perverted Sex Crimes in Moscow by Henodor Titsov.
All right.
Yep, Yahoo does have
Sorry,
a brand new email service. It doesn't offer as much storage as Evil Empire, but it is better in just about every other way. We've been using it here at rednecks.tv, and we find it's easier to use than Gmail, and it integrates very tightly with their blogging tools. The best part is you can drag and drop files between folders. And that part alone is a huge time saver. It also tightly integrates RSS feeds so that people who have no idea what an RSS feed will do, it does it automatically for them, and so they can take advantage of this great new feature without even knowing what it's doing.
Well, yep, I've given it a try. Old Hugh Jess Johnson has set up an email account at Yahoo, and I'll tell you what, I've really been impressed. I like the way it shows your email in the Yahoo homepage. Other than the storage issue, I think it's a lot better product than Gmail.
I do too.
And by the way, Big,
Yes.
while we're talking about email, I hear we got us an email from the folks down at Google. They're begging us to put our little TV program on Google Video.
Yeah, surprise of all surprises, they did send us an email. In fact, they came begging to us like plastic surgeons at a Kenny Rogers concert. Seems like every other viral video site is kicking their butts.
Well, so what do we tell them when they ask?
Well, I think I can sum it up in a little letter that our old buddy, friend, buddy, and co-host Bubba Taylor replied back to him. In so many words, in capital letters, he said, "Screw you," with stronger language to follow. Sincerely, Bubba Taylor.
All right, well, that's good. I hope they get the message.
I'm pretty sure they will.
You know, that ought to put them in their place. These episodes are nearing the 4 million mark for downloads.
Yeah, nobody's more shocked than I.
And there's none of them have been seen over at the Evil Empire.
That's right. Yep.
So what's the deal with the ink story?
Well, it seems that Hewlett-Packard's business model for selling printers is running into lots of trouble. Seems as how HP and a lot of other printer manufacturers have used the old give away the razor, but sell them the razor blades.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yep. They'll give you a printer just for practically nothing, and then want to sell you printer ink cartridges for like 40 bucks a piece. And people like Staples and Cartridge World came along and started selling discount ink, and now their goofy little scheme and strategy just ain't working. So they've got scientists and lawyers lining up to sue everybody in sight, claiming that the ink folks that are manufacturing these new cartridges have violated their patents. They're going to sue their competition right out of existence.
Well, you know, Big, we're here in the greatest country on earth,
Right.
and whatever happened to the good old-fashioned American way of making a better product and selling it at a better price? Isn't that the kind of thing that made America great?
Well, it is. It really is. You can take it from old Big that this kind of thinking went out the door when the United States Supreme Court started allowing lawyers to advertise on TV. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
we don't
wanna
like
get
lawyers.
no, we don't. We don't want to get me started on lawyers. So anyway, Hewlett-Packard, if you're watching this little episode, there's at least a few folks in this here old world that don't cotton to your hardball tactics. That's right, us here at rednecks.tv. can the lawyers and take the money you save to offer a printer that costs $399. For $399,
Yeah.
you can get free ink for the next 10 years. Old A. Big Johnson says, you'll sell printers faster than a condom sale at a whorehouse.
Well, Big, let's get to the fun stuff.
Let's do.
Our imported wine review.
Yes, indeedy.
Today we're going to review wine from as far away as Missouri, Ohio, and even California.
Way on out there. Yes, indeed. So let's do that.
Well, we're even going to review a foreigner's wine.
Foreigners?
Yeah.
Don't cotton much to them foreigners.
Well, we're going to review one made by those gutless French.
Oh, please.
Which reminds me, you remember our uncle?
Oh, yeah.
You know, us rednecks, we're a patriotic bunch.
That's right, we are.
And we're proud Americans, and a lot of us have served in the armed forces.
Yes, sir.
We've got an uncle that rose up to the high rank of Major, Major Johnson. You remember Major? He used to tell me the story as I was a youngster. He was quite a military historian. He said that during the Revolutionary War and some of those, he said that the leaders out front wore red.
That's right.
That's in case they took a hit, the troops behind them couldn't tell it, and they would continue to march forward.
Wouldn't see the blood on their coats. That's
Exactly.
Right, red coats. Yeah.
Well, he always surmised that that's probably why the French wore brown.
Oh, their pants were brown. That's, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so nobody could tell how scared they were.
Exactly.
Yeah, gutless outfits. You, did you hear the story about the different admirals from the different navies of the world militaries having a joint meeting and getting together? It was some kind of a big caucus.
No, I didn't hear
Yeah,
this, Big.
there was a U.S. Navy admiral there, and there was a Russian Navy admiral. There was I don't remember now. Canadian Navy.
Canadian Navy.
Yeah, Australian.
They got a Navy?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, there was Australian. There was British. There was a Navy admiral from just about all of the major military navies, and there was also a French Navy admiral, and he was whining, as most French folks do, about why did all of the French people have to learn English and why do we have to speak English at these conferences? And he said, you know, all of you other people, you branches of military, have to learn the different languages, including
Right.
English, but the English people don't have to learn anything but English.
Yeah.
And he wanted to know why we had to speak English at these joint meetings.
So what would we tell them?
Well, the Navy admiral from the United States told him, he said, well, maybe it was because 60 years ago, the militaries from the Brits, the Canadians, the Aussies, we all got together and arranged it so you French people wouldn't have to speak German.
Yeah. I bet they didn't think of that, did they?
No, they certainly
That old
didn't.
boy named Adolf over there.
That's right. So I guess we'll get on to the wines, and maybe we can award the best of the bunch, and no doubt one of them will probably get the worst tasting award.
Well, we're going to judge them like we see them.
That's right.
We
That's
tell
right.
it like it is.
We're very unbiased here at Redneck Subs.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, let's get on to that.
Okay. We'll be back in just a minute, folks, with the wine review.
Don't go away.
Well, Big, it looks like we've had some of our supporters send us a little variety of wines here.
That's right. Thanks, folks.
You bet. Thank you out there. And keep them coming in because we'll review them.
You bet.
And we have assembled the thing that's near and dear to the redneck's heart
That's right.
as far as drinking.
The old mason jar. Us rednecks, we drink from nothing but the finest, and that would be your mason jars.
There's been more than one quart of moonshine's probably been
That's
through
right.
these.
That's right. Little corn liquor, as they say, little beer, and now it's going to be the fine wines.
Well, speaking of that, Big, what do we got down here on this end?
Well, for starters, here we have, that's a big baby. I know all about that. Of course, they appropriately placed it close to me. It's here we have your 1997 Mendocino Merlot sketchbook from the Mendocino collection. This is a California wine, folks. Really, I'm sure it'll be fine stuff. And next we have Well, I want to wash my hands after handling this. This is French wine. It's
I can't help you.
those French folks, they're just not right anyway. They can't spell. Beaujolais Villages. I'm sure it'll be just as unpleasant as almost anything else they do. What do you have there?
Well, what we have is looks like a Brighton Bach Roadhouse Red.
Cool.
And I'll tell you what, anything with the word Roadhouse for a redneck has got to be good.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I'm sure it'll be one of our favorites probably.
This looks like a 2001 vintage
Yeah?
coming from us from the fine folks in Ohio.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So that's 5 years old. That
Oh,
is some, boy, age to perfection.
that's not as old as some of your socks.
You know better than that. I don't wear socks.
Yeah, well, that's true too. We'll just leave it at that. This is Schoolhouse Red. This is a Missouri red wine. It's
Well,
brought
tell.
to us by the St. James Winery in Missouri. Now that, I believe this is one of your finer vintages, probably May or June.
Well, I'll have to say, I have to kind of tip my hand on this, let the folks know that I have tried some of the wines from the St. James Winery. I was through there just a few months back, and
Well,
they have some excellent wines. They really do. And not to jump ahead and get off the subject, but as you folks have kind of gotten accustomed to with each episode, we do a product review. If you have a product that you would like for us to review here on rednecks.tv, get in touch with us by email or just click on the link on your screen. Drop us a line, give us a call, let us know that you have a product you'd like for us to review, because we always want your advertising dollars here at rednecks.tv. Now back to the wines.
well, what are we going to start with?
Well, you know what? I made a little observation here, being the scientist that I am. I have keen, overly developed senses of observation.
Yeah, we did make it
And
through
I
high
did
school.
notice that all of these babies have corks on them, except for this French stuff, which is just a screwy lid, which, how apropos for the French.
Well, you think we should
Screwy.
start with that?
I think we should. No, let's save the nastiest for, I'm sure it's going to be nasty. Let's save that for last. You want to?
Well, all right.
So what do you want to start with? This one here?
That's fine.
Let's pop this bad boy open here, the California wine. Oh, it says right here 1997. So we're 9 years, stuff's 9 years old.
Wow.
Wow, cool. That's a delicate bouquet.
Interesting.
Sniffing them corks, are you?
Yeah, I've seen the guys on TV do
I've
that.
seen you sniff trout before. I was always wondering why.
I can tell how old they are.
Trout sniffer.
Now don't bruise the fruit of the wine.
Oh no, that's right. We don't want to bruise it. It's delicate, I'm sure.
That's probably
Got plenty, you
yeah.
think?
I'll tell you, I'm
All right.
not much on the
A little
wine.
swirl to get the bouquet. Smells a little bit like vinegar. Well, bottoms up. Here's mud in your eyes. By doggies, that tastes a little bit like vinegar.
I believe you're right. I didn't drink all mine.
You're going to have to finish it up so you don't ruin the others.
I think I need to cleanse my palate.
Yeah, no doubt. Cleanse our palate with some good old brewskis from the nice folks at Anheuser-Busch in St. Louis, Mo.
One of
Oh
my
man,
favorite
that's
places.
good. I think I'll have another one of those.
Now we're talking.
What could be finer? All right, so let's do one of these two. What do you think?
Schoolhouse Red. Where is that winery in Missouri?
Well,
That's
believe it or not, it is in the town of St. James.
Oh, okay.
Hence the name, St. James Winery.
There we go.
Oh,
I think that one smells a little better, Big.
yeah, it does. It smells a little bit like cork. Now you can, this stuff here, I promise you. Now, I have not actually tried the Schoolhouse Red from St. James, but I have tried some of their others, and they have a velvet red. It's excellent. This also smells good. Has a nice bouquet, wonderful aroma. It's a little bit more of a table wine or a dinner wine, I would say. It's not sweet. It's not dry. I would say it's maybe a semi-sweet. Bottoms up.
Well, I'll say of the two, that's my choice so far.
So far, yeah.
Absolutely.
So far, it's not bad. Well, so let's
try the
Breitenbach.
Roadhouse Red.
Oh yeah, we go for the Roadhouse.
Anything with the Roadhouse in it's going to be.
Right. That's the now. Is that the stuff from Ohio?
Why, it sure is.
Certainly
Dover,
is. Dover, Ohio. Red Rover from Dover. There's nice. Yeah. You know what? If we'd have had one of these, we could have. This also could have worked on our feminine hygiene products. Looks to me like a stopper for something. You know what I'm saying?
Here, pour your wine, Big.
Okay. Oh, pardon me here. We won't want to stick that back in the bottle, will we?
Which one was it?
Oh, you big coward. That smells a little more, I don't know. Let's see what. That's not bad. That's a little sweeter.
I like it.
I do. I like that. That's that would go good with fish or
That's
peanut butter and jelly.
absolutely. That's good. That's some good stuff right there.
You bet. Well, we've saved for what we feel like is probably the nastiest for last, the Beaujolais Villagesse.
They can't even spell bow right.
The screwy French folks with the screwy cap. Allow me.
No, easy. That's probably plenty.
More than enough. Smells a little bit like paint thinner.
Oh man, that's like
Yeah.
that's like kerosene,
That is
man.
nasty.
Oh,
You know what? I think that's going to win the old, as our old buddy Bubba Taylor would say,
Fido's ass.
Fido's ass. Exactly right.
Oh.
And I'm sure, no doubt, being as how that's a French wine, probably instead of Fido, it's probably Fideaux.
We should change the spelling.
That's right. We should.
Fancy it up a little bit because they like it
Fido's
fancy.
ass. Yep. That's what was that? Like a May vintage? Probably.
Oh, I'd say last week.
Yeah, no doubt. Tastes like last week's socks. Well, folks, that's about it for this episode of Rednecks.tv, episode 9, I think it was,
Yes, it
by the
is.
way. Unbelievable. We've already done 9 episodes. We want to thank you for joining us, for allowing us into your computer, your iPod, or whatever the case may be. Thanks to all of our faithful viewers and fans for all of the emails, calls. If you have a product, again, if you have a product you would like for us to review on Rednecks.tv or want to advertise on our show, just drop us a line, send us an email, give us a call. We're always glad to hear from you, and we do want your advertising dollars.
Yes,
here
we do.
on
TV.
Rednecks.tv. Y'all come back now, you hear?
When viewing this film, please keep your company name and your product in mind.